At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the AuthenticCare Alabama Caregiver Worker Training Conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. Jamie Sherr, you may begin your conference.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, this is the AuthenticCare Alabama Caregiver Worker Training, the second one that we are doing. I do see there we have about 40 people on the webinar. It's April 24th, 2018. I am recording this webinar. Hopefully, if we can get it to you. If not, I will let you know. I am going to go through the PowerPoint first, and then I will show you a demo on my mobile app. Did get the firewall situation taken care of, so I will be able to show you the mobile app myself this time. So I'm going to go over, this is the agenda, I'm going to go over downloading, installing, and setting up the mobile app, the setup code, the device ID, how to log in, doing a check-in and check-out for scheduled and unscheduled visits, the mobile status indicating in queue when there's a red toolbar for a limited service zone. Then I'll do the demo, and then we'll have the interactive discussion for best practices, questions, answers, anything that we would like to discuss. Hopefully we have some workers on this time, more than we had the last time, so we can get some questions and answers hopefully out there for the workers. So first of all, downloading, installing, and setting up the mobile app. It's pretty simple for your smartphone. It's a free mobile app. If you have an Android phone, you'll go to the Google Play Store. If you have an iPhone, you'll go to the Apple App Store. Just like you do any other app, you'll go there. You'll type in AuthenticCare. It'll bring it up. You'll click on it. It will bring up the acceptance box. You'll need to check that, hit accept prior to that download. Then when you tap the download, it'll install it, do all of its thing. And then once it's installed, you'll have to hit the accept the end user license agreement, and then it'll be installed on your phone. For the Android version, we do support Android tablets, but only for 7 and 10-inch tablets at this time. So once you do that and you download it and you open it up, it's the first thing that's going to ask you after accepting that end user agreement. It's going to ask you for a setup code. If you did this in the training when you were first learning about AuthenticCare, we gave you the Alabama CAT setup code. Now that we're live and we're in production, you're going to need to use the Alabama production setup code. So that I have that on the screen here. It's Alabama PRD for production. So no longer CAT. We want you to point to production. Once you put in that setup code and you're pointing to production, it's going to bring you to the login page. This is where you're going to enter your worker ID and your password that your provider has set up for you. On inside the website, where they give you your worker ID and then they put in the password for you in your worker entity settings page. Once you get that and you go back to your mobile app, here's where you're going to need to get your device ID for your provider to put on your worker entity settings page. This is how your mobile app talks to our back end. If we don't have that device ID in your worker entity settings page in the website, you're not going to be able to log in. It's not going to let you. So this is how it talks to our back end. This is how we connect with your phone. So we have to have that device ID. So once you're on this login page, there's a little eye icon with a circle around it. You just need to tap on that, and this will bring this little black box up here, and it'll have your device ID there. You need to either take a screenshot, write this down, or be in the office when your provider does this, and they need to have this copied the exact way it is so they can put this in on the worker entity settings page under the mobile section. Once they have that in there and they save this, then you'll be able to log in. So this is very important, or the mobile app will not work for you. The device ID has to be exactly right. Now I'm showing an Android version here. For the iPhone version, it'll come up here, but there's letters and numbers and dashes. Everything has to be sent and given to your provider exactly the way it shows up on this, in this black box. So once you're logged in and you put your worker ID after you give your device ID to your provider, and then you put in your worker ID and your password, and I give you the password criteria here. The first time you log in, it might ask you to change your password, so the password criteria will be on the page, so you know that you can change it and it will be acceptable. But it has to be at least 8 characters long, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, at least 1 digit, 1 number, and 1 special character. And there's the list of special characters that it can be. We also have on the page where you can check this box where it says show password, so you can see what you're typing. That's very important on the phone because sometimes you don't know what you're hitting on there and it's hard to tell. I always call it the fat finger. That I do that all the time. So it's easy for me when I just click that box and I see what I'm typing. Then you hit login. You can also use this if you're logging in and out for, if you're sharing a phone with another worker and you need to log out, then the other worker can log in with the same phone or tablet, then they can log in on this same device or whatever. They can use the same device. So once you're logged in, and let me say, if you're going, and I'll say this throughout the whole training, if you have clients that you have limited service, or they don't have Wi-Fi at their house, and sometimes you can't get service at their house, you need to log in, like in the morning, at home, if you have service at home. Just log in. I don't mean check in and check out. I mean just log in, just like I was just at. Just log into the app. When you log in, it starts a session. That session in the morning is important. When you log in, so if you log in from home, or when you stop at McDonald's for your coffee in the morning, if you need the Wi-Fi at McDonald's, or just if you have service, you need to log in to start that session, and that'll pull down your schedule for the day. If you do that in the morning, and then it'll pull down those schedules, and you see those schedules, then that's fine. Then if you go to a house that doesn't have very good service, or limited service, or it's kind of iffy, or you don't know if you're going to be able to clock in and out that day, then those schedules are already going to be there, and I will show you later how you can clock in and out for those clients, and you won't have any problem clocking in and out. So I just want to reiterate that now, and then I'll show you again later. So once you're at the client's house and you're logged in, so if you logged in the morning, you might need to log in again. Once you get there, you're going to see get my mouse to move. You're going to see your clients for the day because you're going to see your schedules. So once you get to that client's house and you see your client there, you're going to see, oh, I'm scheduled for this client, so I need to do this check-in. I see my actions here for the day, and I need to check in. So just for this one, it was 9 o'clock. I need to check in, so I hit the check-in button. It's going to take me to this check-in where my service pops up, the client's address, phone number, and this is where I'm going to submit my check-in. So then I can hit check-in. That's going to take you to that check-in, and then it'll say successfully submitted check-in. So now if you somehow your provider didn't have a check-in or didn't have a schedule for that day, then you can do a manual check-in, and I'll show you all this on the phone when I do the demo. So if you get there and you see, oh, I didn't have a schedule for that day, you can always do a manual check-in. There's always a way to do a check-in. So you get to the client's house and there's a button you can do a manual check-in. You can hit that button. It'll pop up if you have an authorization and everything for that client. Their client ID and everything, their client name, everything will pop up if you're within that geofence and everything at that client's house. It'll pop up for you, and you can just select that client's name there. Once you do that, then you can just continue to check in as usual. So there is a way to clock in and out if you don't have a schedule. I will show you that in a bit. So then once you checked in, once you checked in and then you did the manual check-in, if you're not at the current location and you didn't have a match for that client, say you don't have an authorization in the system or the client didn't pop up, you're not at that location for some reason, you can hit ID not available. By tapping the ID not available, it'll bring you to this page, and you can enter the client's last name or the client ID and hit submit. Once you hit submit, it should bring up that client name again, and you could go ahead and finish checking in. I'll show you that as well. So after you're done and you hit submit check-in, sorry, I'm skipping ahead of myself. You'll have to select the service for that client because it's not pulling it from the website. So you'll have to select which service you are checking in for that client. Once you select that service, then you can hit submit check-in. Once that service is populated, then you can hit check-in. So once you have a check-in submitted and you go and do your service for the client, be it personal care, homemaker service, whatever service you're performing, you take the hour or how long it takes you to do the service, and then you go back to the app and you see that you have an action that you need to check out. The status says it's pending the checkout, so you need to check out. So you would hit the checkout button. So either way, if you did the scheduled visit, the manual check-in, or the manual check-in without, the ID being there, you had to put in the ID. Either way, you still need to check out. So you would hit the checkout button. It would take you to the checkout screen. Here you would need to select, if you are doing a service that has activity codes and observation codes, you would need to select those. You would just click on the down arrows, select the activities, and hit OK. Once you selected everything and they showed up there, then you would select, at the bottom here, you would select submit checkout, and it would say checkout successful. And then you would go back to your visit screen, which is this one, and you would see that your checkout was complete. Once it says complete, it is sent to our system and it's in the website where your provider can see that your claim was submitted and it's complete. Your check out, check in, everything is completed. Now that, everything I just showed you was for a standard service zone, so that's when you have service or the client has Wi-Fi, your GPS's coordinates are determined, everything's good to go, you have no problems. So now, if you're in, like I said earlier, if you're in the limited service zone, there's no data coverage. Most of the time, if there's no data coverage, you're still going to get a GPS fix. So if you can't get that GPS fix, you can still maybe go outside on the porch, go over to the window, go somewhere where you can get that GPS fix. It's from a satellite, so you can go outside, go somewhere where you can get that GPS fix. Most of the time you can do that. If you don't have that service zone, like from the cell phone company, then you're going to see a red banner show up on your phone, and I'll show you how that happens. So if you get to the client's house and you are outside of that standard service zone and you're in that limited service zone, you're still going to be able to check in and check out, just like I said earlier, if you log into the app earlier where you're in a service zone and you pull your schedules. Then you can clock in and out from that schedule, and then it's going to say it's queued. Where it said complete earlier in the status, it's going to stay queued. So then once you get back into a standard service zone where you have cell service or a Wi-Fi connection, then it will push the data that was stored when it said queued. It'll push the data back to our back end, and it will make everything go back into the website from the time that you checked in and checked out, not the time that you push the data. It saves the data from when you checked in and checked out. The banner will turn back to white from red, and it'll send the data back in to our back end. So here's an example of that. So up here where it says today's visit with the date, it's white. If you're in a limited service zone, it turns red. So that's a good indicator that you have no cell service, or you're not in Wi-Fi. So if you're in this limited service zone, after 60 minutes, there is a warning message that displays that says to return to Wi-Fi or data coverage to push the data back to our back end. It doesn't mean you have to go back into that hour. It's just a message telling you, hey, you need to get into Wi-Fi to push the data. If I know you're going to be doing a service and it's going to take longer than an hour maybe, so it's just a message telling you, hey, you need to get back to, you still have data out here that needs pushed. So just whenever you can, go ahead and get back into a standard service zone, Wi-Fi, anywhere, so you can push that data back. Okay, let me bring up my phone.
Hey, Jamie, this is Shannon. When you demo via the phone,
Yep.
can you specifically cover, because this gets some people lost, when you go in and you're checking in, well, that's the first time you're probably logging into it, so you know how to do it and you're good to go. It's getting a little fuzzy when then they provide the services, time passes, and they go back into the app, and they don't realize that they already have that session open, and they don't know whether they're logged in or not, and so then they just kind of enter everything in all over again. So just showing how you know whether you're logged in or not
my phone? I just need to know. Can you see the Authenticator icon right here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks. So this is my phone, and I've downloaded the Authenticator app onto my Android phone from the Google Play Store. And I'm going to click on it for the first time. And I get the end user license agreement. And let me make this smaller there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this. And it's going to ask me for that setup code. And since I'm doing the training, I'm going to put in the Alabama CAT setup code. And hit go. So here's where it brings you to the login page. So this is the eye icon with the little circle around it. If I just touch on that, it brings up my device ID. Now I had to put my device ID under my worker record in the website before my phone would talk to the back end. So I could log into the app. So that's the first thing I had to do after I got my worker ID. So now I'm going to log in with my worker ID. And my password. And I'm going to click show password to make sure I put it in there right. And then I'm going to select login. Now this is the first time I'm logging in. So it takes a minute. So you saw it said loading appointments. So that's the first time I logged in. So this is loading my appointments for the day. This is loading my schedules. So it's loading my schedules for today. And you can see today's visits 4/24/18. If I scroll down, and my phone is weird because it on the end, it kind of rolls over a little bit the way my screen is, so you can't see these. If I turn my phone a little bit, I can see them, but you can't. So it has my schedules here for the day. So I'm good now. So if I'm out of the limited service zone, I can still log in for these clients, and I'll show you that. So let me just go through the app a little bit first. So up here is the calendar. If I click on that, it'll take me to the calendar. So it shows me my schedules for today. I can click on tomorrow, and it'll show me my schedules for tomorrow. I can't go back though. I can go forward, but not back. So if I go back to my visits, it'll take me back to today. If I click on, and this is with Android, if I click on the little back button, on my phone it's the back button where I can bring up the menu. If I just hold on that, it'll bring up the menu down at the bottom here. So I can click on call office, I can change my password, I can do a forced checkout, and I can do a log out. So a forced checkout would be if you forgot to check in and you need to do a checkout. So say you got to the client's house, you forgot to check in, but come time to check out, you could do a forced checkout, and then you could call your provider and say, I clocked out, but I forgot to clock in, so they could just go in and fix the clock in. So you could just hit that forced checkout button there. Oh, and I got no clients matching. So then I could do the no clients found, ID not available. So I could enter client last name. Let me see if this worked. Last time it didn't work for Chris. would do test client. And then submit. So then that brings up my clients. So I could select one of these clients, which is the same. So I would select the one that says home. I would select what service I am performing. I'll just do homemaker services. And then I would check OK. And then I need to check activity codes. I'll just check a few here and select OK. I don't know if I need activity codes or, shoot, I did that already. Observation codes. Hit OK. And then just say OK. And then submit checkout. So there it tells me my checkout was successful. And it gives me the actual time I checked out, the lat and long, everything I need for that client. So now you could just let your provider know, hey, I forgot to check in, but I did check out, so they can go in and they can fix that and put in your time you checked in, and you'll have a successful claim. So I want to go back to my visits page. I'll click on the Authenticare icon here. So it takes me back to there, and it tells me I have a completed claim because I only did a forced checkout, so that means that's completed. So now back to the schedule. So I go to my first client's house. That should be my first schedule on here. I see I need to check in. I click the check in. Takes me to the check-in. I see this is all correct. All I do is submit the check-in button. Shows me my actual check. Oh. Says I was checked in successful. Oh, tells me I need to check out at this time. What my lat and long was. I don't want to check out now because I still need to perform the service. So I'm going to go back to the visits page. And it's telling me my action is I need to check out, and I have a pending checkout here. So now I would perform the service. I don't really need to do anything. I would perform the service, and that's all I would need to do. But once you come back to your phone, the app has probably logged you out. So I'm just going to log out to show you. Once you come back to your phone, the app's probably logged you out, and you'll come back to this login again. So like Shannon had said earlier, you logged in for the first time this morning. You created that session. The session is created first time you log in. You can log back in. You're not going to create another session unless you go and, how do I want to say this? If you would go to your phone in your settings and go to your apps and clear the cache, clear the data, that would make you start a new session. But that would make you start all over again, and you'd have to click on the icon again. You would have to accept the end user agreement again. You'd have to put in the setup code again and then log in, and that would start a whole new session. So for you to do that, you would have to, in the same day, you would have to clear the data and do all that. And you don't want to do that because you will, if you clear the data and clear the cache, you will lose everything that's stored on the phone at that time. You don't want to do that. So logging in and out again is okay to do. Once you do one session, it's fine. A session starts over the next day. I hope I didn't confuse everybody more. But logging in and out during the day is fine because the app, for security reasons, is going to log you out. If you just leave your phone sit there with the app open, it's going to log you out for security reasons.
What's the logout time, Jamie?
Chris, do you know that? I'm not sure. Is it 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Yeah, I'm not sure offhand. I can take a look while you're talking.
Okay.
In general, most likely, if your service is at least a minimum of an hour, and by the time you log in that first time, it would have automatically logged you out by that second time. And if you start going into a whole new session and going through all those steps that you just explained, out of the yellow flag and something is wrong, you shouldn't have to do that twice in one day.
Correct. Absolutely correct. You should not do that at all. So logging in once starts the session in the morning, and then just logging in and out does not start a whole new session, does not do anything. It will just log them in and out. And if there's more than one session, you're right. That's a red flag, and they should not have to do that. Okay, so that's a normal check-in and check-out. So now I want to show you a manual check-in, which you shouldn't have to do because for Alabama you do schedules, but just in case maybe the provider didn't get your schedule out there that day or whatever, let's go ahead and do a manual check-in. Just, you might have to do it. So it's going to tell me no matching clients were found because I'm not at that client's house and I didn't put my coordinates in. So if you were at the client's house, it should pop up and show you what comes up after I put this client last name in. But if you're not at the client's house, you'll have to put the client's last name in or their client ID. And then you would hit submit. But if you're at the client's house, this should pop up and all you'd have to do is hit this. So now I'm here. I need to select the service I'm going to provide. We'll do Homemakers, say OK, and then I'll submit my check-in. So my check-in was successful. Tells me my actual check-in time and my lat long. So I'm going to go back to my page. So I have pending checkouts here. That's a manual check-in. So I showed you the manual check-in, a scheduled check-in. So now I'm going to show you what happens if you're not in a service zone where you get the red banner. If you're not in a service zone. So I need to put my phone in airplane mode. So I logged in this morning, I got my schedules. Now I'm at a client's house. and I don't have cell service. So this red banner here shows me I don't have cell service. But I know it's time for me to clock in for this client, but I don't have cell service. But I can still go here and hit this check-in. And it brings up the test client that I was supposed to hit, the service, and now all I need to do is hit submit check-in. So once I hit the check-in, submit check-in, it tells me my check-in is queued. So my scheduled check-out time is 5:44. So I don't want to check out yet, so I'm going to go back to the visits page. So now you can see I have a checkout that's queued. So I'm going to go back to this one, and I'm also going to show you, I'm going to try to check out. It's the same client. I'm going to try to check out in the limited service zone. So I need to put in my activity codes, put in my observation codes if I had any, and submit my checkout. Tells me again my checkout's queued. So if I go back, I came unplugged. There we go. So now I have my checkouts queued and this one's queued. So everything's queued. So I'm going to do this one too, so then I can get a complete claim here. So I can show you what happens after I get back into service. I'm going to submit my check-in. Tells me I'm queued. Okay. So everything's queued. So now I'm going to go. So now you still have the red banner. Sorry. You still have the red banner. You're still in limited service zone, but now you're going to the next client's house. And along the way there or there, you have service. Takes a minute to get back into service. There we go. Now I have service. So it takes a few minutes. Sometimes if you swipe down and refresh your page,
Jamie, can you say what motion you did one more time to refresh the screen?
okay, I swiped down. So I started underneath the yellow banner and I did a finger swipe and like swipe down. I think I did it prematurely, so it's taken a while.
Hey Jamie, this is Chris. Once we get through this, it might be a good stopping point. It's been about 35 minutes or so. I'm going to take some questions.
Okay.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone
everything is complete. So once I was back in service, these went to complete instead of queued, and they ended up in the back end, so now they are complete and now they're on the website as an actual claim, and now the provider can see them. So yeah, this is a good stopping point for questions.